Hello. Size does come with its inherent advantages, sometimes your opponent having so much mass over you that even calling the Ghostbusters would be futile. That's Marshmallow Giant status, and in that case, it's probably best to just run. Unless, of course, you're Mirko Cro Cop. In this segment, let's look at Mirko dealing with some dude significantly bigger than him, and figure out why it turned out the way it did. Sure, Mirko is 220 pounds, but this dude is 329 pounds, outweighing Mirko by over 100 pounds. And sure, this is just speculation, but as Nate would say,
you're on steroids.
This dude's face screams violent, unlubricated sodomy. He is the prison inmate you pray you never end up sharing a cell with. So, for the most part, Mirko just keeps his distance, and as Bob tries to clinch up, he wants no part of it. He doesn't want to be held up against this monster's mass. You gotta give it to Bob, as unrefined and sloppy as he may be. If that right ever connected, he could have instantly ended that fight. Luckily, Mirko pulled out of the way. Mirko drops one of his devastating roundhouses, then following up with a cross. Clearly, that shouldn't have been enough to keep Bob on the ground. If he can roll around and cry, he can get back up. This weak mind, I believe, appears to be the case with not just bigger opponents who rely on their physical gifts, opposed to hard physical and mental training, but bullies in general. The reason why they pick on smaller, more vulnerable opponents typically roots back to cowardice, which hints at a weak mind, and the moment Mirko showed he wasn't a typical smaller opponent by showing off some of his technique and power, Bob Sapp's mind broke, and he wanted no part of it, choosing to instead go home in peace with check in hand. In this instance, Mirko's opponent Baruto is a 400-pound sumo wrestler, and as one, using his mass and pushing his opponent off to his side is kind of expected. But this isn't sumo, and by clinching up and holding Mirko, it was only a matter of time until he found the space to throw his own shot. With a background in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and Taekwondo, anything waist below is dangerous. Left knee to liver. We discover cushioning will not always compensate for conditioning, especially when your opponent is as dangerous as Mirko Cro Cop. Hongman Choi is 7'2", 331 pounds, an absolute physical monster, and as you can tell, Mirko is circling away, again, keeping his distance. But just listen to the first shot dropped from the legendary left leg of Mirko Cro Cop, straight to the quad, blunt force trauma on another level. Mirko, not really wanting to commit within the reach of his opponent, basically continues this pattern throughout. It's easy work for Mirko by simply playing to its strengths. This goes to show that size sure does have its inherent advantages. We cannot ignore the truth, but hard work, conditioning, skill, mentality, there are many other factors which may compensate, which I believe Mirko highlighted here. This provides insight far beyond the arena. It is a philosophy for life. The world will always provide you with problems, and on the surface, it may feel as though you aren't good enough, that you don't have the tools to take care of what lies before you. But you never truly know until you try. If you fail, it was expected, but who knows? If you know who you are and play to your strengths, you might be surprised by how far hard work and discipline will take you. And Mirko, I believe, highlights this lesson perfectly. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.